Hello everyone, Wawash Konda here, and you're listening to Honey and Home. Today I would like to share you some of my thoughts that I had while visiting two of biggest North Brabant cities, which are Breda and Tilburg. So let's start with Tilburg because that's the one that I visited earlier. Basically, the friend of mine living there showed me the places around. We went through the city, and she was started basically to explain to me what is happening around. The most interesting fact I remember about Tilburg is that there is this big church in the center of the city where there was the pornography film once shot. Which is crazy, you know, this is something that you would never believe happening like in real life, and it was so casually dropped by her as a fact, which I found like so entirely cool. And it's like, you know, this is exactly the new take on the Western culture and the open-mindedness and everything. Maybe some of people would actually consider this to be disgraceful for the religion or in front of the God and all this stuff, but you know, there's been so many churches around, and it's so weird to see that people back in Ukraine and maybe suppose in some other post-Soviet countries, there has been more and more new churches appearing everywhere. Well, here, it going vice versa. All those buildings, which are gorgeous, like, you know, the Catholic churches, they usually look great. Like, they had hella lot of money back in the days, and they were always down to build something cool. So this is a huge Gothic church, cathedral even, I would say, because it's like really tall. And yet this is the place where the scene was performed and shot on a camera. This is so crazy to say it out loud, and I know, like, it was a bit shocking and really provocative, and probably that's the coolest thing I remember about Tilburg. Like, besides those parts, there is a small like river/canal, and we even managed to see some kind of a small competition where people were rowing on the really long boats. It probably seemed to be also some kind of a festival at that point of a time. But besides that, there are a bunch of parks, a bunch of old houses, so I think those kind of architecture you'll be able to see almost anywhere in the Netherlands. That's why it's not something that outstanding and something, oh, you really need to say that you need to go to Tilburg just to see those beautiful houses on the streets. You can go to any Dutch city, and there are more of them in other places, so it's not necessarily worth going to Tilburg for that. There is a big park, there is a big university, and because there was not really much to share about it, I decided to combine it with another short trip that I had, and both of them took maybe a day. Another one was in Breda, and Breda is another city in North Brabant again. So we also went there, the weather was nice. Then, you know, once you step out of the railway station, you pretty much, if you're just gonna follow straight, you will end up in a huge park, where at that point of time there was the festival. So, of course, after you go in through that park, you basically will stumble upon the Castle of Breda. There's nothing really spectacular about it, besides the fact that it is a castle, and I think those are still quite a rare occasion in the Netherlands. At least I can't really remember the other city I've been to the Netherlands where I can see the castle. No, cannot really. So that's probably the most interesting part about Breda. Then I think, as in any proper Dutch city, you have a place called Grotemarkt, which is literally big market. I think I've been mentioning in my video about The Hague that usually this is the place where, I think in old times, is where the place where all the market things were happening, but now all the bars, cafes are concentrated there. So if you would ever end up going to Breda, you know where to go. Just look for Grotemarkt. Besides that, I think Breda seemed to be nicer than Tilburg. I think Tilburg felt much smaller, even though I think in terms of the population, Tilburg is bigger. It's about 220,000, while Breda is less than 200. So Breda felt like you have more freedom of movement. The streets are also wider. There is more canals, so they are going along the city center. So one of the most spectacular sights in Breda, besides the castle itself, there is also this cathedral. I think at that point of time, unfortunately, was under the reparation and the restoration, so I couldn't really see the full grace of that building, but I think the whole dome and also the top of it was like the small little tower, and I think there was something golden in it, like the guy either having something, some kind of a ball in his hands. I'm not sure, maybe I'm just bullshitting you now. Like, Breda is really green city. I think in this location of just the city center, there are like two quite big parks, like the one where this festival was happening, and another one where I end up going just because I lost a bit of sense of direction. So I knew for sure that this is the park, but for some reason I was 100,000 billion% sure this is the exactly park we've been passing by before. So this is the way we've ended up going to another one, which actually I felt was quite nicer. There were fewer people, and there was this huge pond/lake, and even I think a couple of people were like trying to fish something. I don't know, it's such a common thing for people to go fishing anywhere they see the water. You'll see a lot of people standing with the fishing rods trying to get a fish. I don't know, that looks a bit crazy to me, seeing like how clean the canals are. Definitely not the fish I would ever try to eat. But maybe out of competitive spirit of fishing itself, that's probably nice. As much as maybe my speech about Tilburg and Breda would sound quite uninteresting for you in terms of, I felt like maybe I also didn't do a great proper research, and if I would dig further, I would be able to find some more interesting places. But I'm this kind of traveler who likes to understand for myself on the go. Is it something that I like? Is it something that I enjoy? Do I like the atmosphere? Do I like the vibe that's going around? This is something that you wouldn't be able to read and appreciate beforehand while doing your research over the places where you want to go. And that makes your whole trip way less structured, which I think when you go in somewhere and you're not like in a rush and there's always another opportunity for you to go there, so why would you really try to force yourself and push yourself to go for like all the sites? And like something on the picture or by the description may sound way more important and interesting, where in reality it's gonna be just it's nothing, not even worthing your time. And then that's I think where the frustration going. That's why I think that the reality, when you go in traveling, you like first few days, maybe depending of course on the time, how long you're gonna go somewhere, you just should try to appreciate the exact moment you're in and trying to walk around yourself without trying to look for some guidance for some of those famous interesting sites or anything. Just trying to enjoy yourself, just try to find this connection with the city. And of course, once you already made some kind of exploration, the initial ones, you of course then can go all in and do some further research, and maybe something on the map would look cooler than it actually would be. And just take your time while exploring new places. So I think this is it, what I have to say about Breda and Tilburg. As much as maybe I'm first sounding quite pessimistic, I would say I quite enjoyed both places anyways. And it's definitely worth going, I think, in any town. It's worth going at least once, and it doesn't matter if it's gonna be a couple of hours, the whole day, or you would think it's so cool you want to go back that some more times. It doesn't matter. It's just for you to make your own judgment, and it's up to you to understand whether you like something or not. So thank you very much, and I really appreciate all of you watching me, so keep on doing that. Bye.